welcome you to the October 4th, 2018 Planning Commission hearing. Why don't we start with the roll call, please?
Chairman Berry.
Here.
Vice Chair Latour.
Here.
Commissioner Bynum.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Finney. Commissioner Hamilton.
Here.
Commissioner Haynes.
Here.
Commissioner Leahy.
Here.
Commissioner May.
Here.
Commissioner Stebbins.
Here.
And Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the minutes of the August 23rd, 2018 meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes be received.
I'm a little clumsy. I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I move for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes, been seconded for August 23rd, 2018. Those approved, raise your right hand. Those who do not, okay, minutes have been approved. Let's go do the presentation of the consent agenda, please.
Following is the consent agenda for the Little Rock Planning Commission Planning Rezoning Conditional Use Hearing of October 4th, 2018. You have one item on consent withdrawal, item A, file number Z9347, Chenal Valley Tract 209 Church, conditional use permit, west side of Rawling Road, south of Charleston Heights. On September 14th, 2018, the applicant requested withdrawal of this item. Staff recommends approval of the withdrawal request without prejudice. You also have one item on consent deferral, item number 4, Z9291A, Word of Outreach Prayer Garden, revised conditional use permit, 2700 Brown Street. The applicant failed to complete the required notification to surrounding property owners. Therefore, staff recommends that this item be deferred to the November 15th, 2018 agenda. Next are the items on consent approval. Item number 2, Z9359, a rezoning from R2 to OS, northeast end of Ranch Boulevard at the 8800 block. Staff recommends approval of the requested OS rezoning. Item number 3, Z2333A, Ellis Multifamily Conditional Use Permit, 900 West 15th Street. Staff recommends approval of the requested CUP subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in sections 5 and 6 of the agenda staff report. Item number 5, Z9354, Phillips Duplexes Conditional Use Permit, northeast corner of West 39th and Wilder Streets. Staff recommends approval of the requested CUP subject to compliance with the following conditions. The lot split must be completed and properly recorded prior to submittal of a building permit in compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in sections 5 and 6 of the agenda staff report. Item number 6, Z9355, Phillips Duplexes Conditional Use Permit, mid-block of the east side of the 3400 block of Long Quarry Street. Staff recommends approval of the requested CUP subject to compliance with the following conditions. The lot recombination must be completed and properly recorded prior to submittal of a building permit in compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in sections 5 and 6 of the agenda staff report. And item number 7, Z9357, Ritter Communications, Mini Fiber Distribution Substation Conditional Use Permit, northwest corner of Maryland and Park Streets. Staff recommends approval of the requested CUP subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in sections 4, 5, and 6 of the agenda staff report. That concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Monty. Do I hear a motion for the consent agenda, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move the approval of the consent agenda with all comments and conditions therein.
Thank you. Do I hear a second for that motion? That the motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Those approve, raise your hand. Those who do not? Okay, consent agenda's been approved. We do have one item for which we have cards, that's item number 1. So we will move to regular agenda, item 1. But if you're here for the other items, you're free to go. Guess it wasn't his. Oh, he's okay. It's someone else. Okay. Let's begin with item 1 then.
Item number 1, file number Z9358. This property located at 2101 Perry Street. Rylewell LLC, owner of the 1600ths of an acre property located at 2101 Perry Street, is requesting to rezone the property from R2 single family district to R4 two family district. The property is located at the southeast corner of Perry Street and West 22nd Street. The rezoning is proposed to allow for the construction of one duplex structure. The property is comprised of one platted lot, which is Lot 13, Block 2, Hicks Interurban Subdivision. A small one-story frame, single-family residence is located near the center of the property with two old metal storage buildings located in the rear yard area. A 10-foot wide platted alley right-of-way runs along the rear or east property line. The property is located in an area of mixed R2 and R4 zoning. R4 zone lots are located immediately to the south within this block face. Additional R4 zone lots are located further south, southeast, and northeast. Single-family residences are located across Perry Street to the west and across 22nd Street to the north. Additional single-family residences, two-family residences, and vacant lots are located throughout this subdivision, as well as several other older manufactured homes. The city's future land use plan designates this property as low-density residential. The requested R4 rezoning does not require amendment to the plan. Staff is supportive of the requested R4 rezoning. Staff views the request as reasonable, as most of the block face to the south is already zoned R4 and contains duplex structures. The property is comprised of one platted single-family lot. One duplex structure will be only a minor increase in the original platted density. New duplex structures have been recently developed within this neighborhood. Staff recently conducted a survey of the neighborhood between West 16th Street and 24th Street and Aldersgate Road to Junior Deputy Road. The survey counted the total number of residential lots within this area and how many of the residential lots are zoned R4. Staff found that there are 368 total lots within this area and that 38 are zoned R4. This represents a percentage of 10.3% of R4 zoned lots within this neighborhood, and the one proposed lot to be zoned R4 would raise that to 10.59%. Although staff is supportive of the rezoning of this one lot to R4, staff is beginning to have concerns with the amount of R4 zone lots within this subdivision. Staff's initial concerns relate to the changing density within this subdivision with respect to the city's future land use plan designation of residential low density and the subdivision's lack of infrastructure. The streets within this subdivision are narrow paved roadways with no curb, gutter, or sidewalks. Open ditches are located along most of the streets. Staff will begin to take a closer look at the density issues associated with the subdivision. Otherwise, staff believes the applicant's plan to construct one new duplex structure will be a quality infill type development for this general area south of West 18th Street. Staff believes the rezoning of this property to R4 will have no adverse impact on the adjacent properties or the general area. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested R4 rezoning.
Thank you, Monty. Is the applicant here, please? Would you approach the lectern, state your name, and certainly any comments you would like to make for this? You can reserve time to address comments from those who have submitted card in opposition.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, good afternoon. My name is Kenny Whitfield, and what we propose to do is to rezone 2101. It's an old dilapidated house, roof falling in, just trash everywhere, and we have a $300,000 duplex structure, or a townhouse right next door to it, and it's just a big eyesore for us. And so we had a guy that bought it, and we're running it through the rezoning before we buy it. So if we can get it rezoned, we can clean it up and put a structure right beside it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Stand by to respond to the persons in opposition. I have B.J. Nix. Would you like to come up to the lectern, please?
I can't do this, but I'm going to. I should have been down here when he first came down. We got the notice. Chicken that I was, I did not do my duty. Good men don't do what they're supposed to do. They accept the consequences. The ambulance cannot get down that little street adjacent to where the long way, I don't know what that is, 22nd. They cannot turn the corner on Perry Street. Ambulances, two cars can drive down the street at 30 to 40 miles an hour, and they have to dodge the parked cars. There are at least 15 to 20 cars that park. Nobody uses their garage. Nobody uses their garage. The lady across from me in a house, we luckily built before this man came by. He told us he was going to do it, and I did not do anything. You cannot, they race up and down that street. He has put, there's not just one families in each side of this lot. You know, somebody has to pay his high rent, you know, so they've got another check to pay with, you know. I walk my dog in that area all the time. I run into him all the time. That was fine. My husband and my son were builders. I object because I didn't get what kind he was going to do when he built that first two-story house, two-story building. He, okay, I'm not going to do any more 2 stories, you know. Well, the bedrooms were upstairs, and that just meant more people could live in it. It was a neighborhood. Perry Street was an old lady maid named Perry. All the people, he gave a lady, a single woman on the corner down there by the mental hospital at Good Shepherd, $7,000 for that acre, or I may have read it wrong, but it was somewhere around 7,000. I mean, he'd left a lot of things. She left a lot of things she couldn't move, and he said I could go down and get anything I wanted to. I got a bird bath that I really wanted. I thought he was so nice. And, but we've had enough. You cannot imagine the lady across the street from me is in a house, you know. She's got a 2-car garage. I gave her vegetables out of my garden all last year. But we kind of got into it with the cars parking on the little 2-lane road. And if I walk and there's somebody parked, then I have to stand behind that car in order to not get run over. But I'm old, y'all, so I don't, you know. But it's enough. It's enough. He went ahead and put more two-story buildings on a street. The Perrys, they settled that land out there. In fact, my first cousin, I didn't know, she built a log cabin over there and raised her kids over there. She's on the Lake Hamilton now. But it's just a nice place. It was quiet, had trees. And as my son said, when I built on that land, he said, oh no, I want the land pristine. That's what a man calls no trees. So I've got trees now. But I just, I think it's enough.
Okay.
He didn't say he was going to build on every single lot in the 3 streets. He doesn't buy the land where it's cheap. I mean, when it's high.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I probably didn't say all I needed to say. But.
Thank you, Ms. Nix. I appreciate your comments. Kimberly Johnson, please.
Hey, I stay on the corner of Wilson and 22nd. 22nd Street, came but one car go down that road. And I just got the letter for Perry Street. Although I now have 3 duplexes down Wilson Street, I never got a letter for they even know that they was going to build on that land. By the time I got the letter, the planning commission had already voted, we're going to put up duplexes. Those duplexes sit on the hill. They have visitors to come. Visitors park in the road. If you coming down the hill, a car is coming up the hill, you might get hit. They don't take their trash cans in. We dodging trash cans. When I moved down there in 2012, I moved down there because I wanted a place for me and my son to finally buy a house. It was nice. It was quiet, no traffic. Now we got people flying up and down the roads. Every time you turn around, there's another duplex. On my day off, I like to rest. I can't rest because it's 7:30, sometimes 6:30 in the morning. I hear bamming, booming, sawing, nailing, and it's a nuisance. It's really a nuisance. And if this duplex come on 22nd Street and Prairie, it's going to be more traffic trying to get down a little narrow road that barely a Fiat can go down. That's just how small it is. Yes, the lot over there is an eyesore. Everybody in the neighborhood see it. We used to it. It doesn't bother us. But all these duplexes coming up here, there, here, there, it's beginning to be an eyesore. It's no longer a neighborhood. It feel like, I don't know what it feel like anymore. I moved out of a duplex into a house to get away from duplexes. It's like now they're following me. I'm tired of seeing them. I'm tired. Enough is enough for trying to rezone this little bitty area that you cannot put that much in. In front of me is Nickel Street. They put up houses. I love the houses. Everything else down there was houses. But now you got these tall duplexes popping up. You can't see nothing anymore. I used to see over to Aldergate Road. I can't even see Aldergate Road anymore. But it's just one duplex after another, after another, after another. Enough is enough. We want a nice, quiet neighborhood again. We have that no more. We don't have that anymore. True enough, I got to thinking, well, what if I want to sell my house to property value? That's shot. You putting up duplexes, three bedroom, 2 bath, for more than what I'm paying mortgage on a house. Why? Why not put up houses instead of duplexes? Why not put up a house and give somebody the opportunity to be a homeowner? But $1,200 rent for a duplex with a 1-car garage, and this one person stayed on top of the hill. They had 4 cars. Where was they going to park? Nowhere but in the road. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. That's a little bit of corner lot. You got a mail truck that got to go down there. You got a garbage truck that got to go down there. In the evening time, there's a school bus. Folks that work for them, they parked all out in the yard. In the road, they have no regards for any homeowner that's down there. They would park that truck right there in the road and make you go around. I'm not finna do no more detours going to my house. I've been there since 2012. I was young when I bought my house. I was proud to be a homeowner. Give me some respect. When you see me kind of move, why are you in the middle of the road? Why are you in the middle of the road? These duplexes, they are eyesore. They are a complete eyesore. They taller than all the houses. Like I said, the little area down there is small, and now we're all just sitting on top of each other. No space to do anything. I'm like, if you want to do something for the kids in the neighborhood. Clear off the lot, build them a playground, something. But why do we have to keep putting up these duplexes that's that far apart from each other? It doesn't make sense. Like I said, I'm just tired of seeing them.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Applicant, would you like to come back up?
Yes, sir.
Anything you wish to say in response?
Well, down Perry Street is a little narrow, and it's on our lease that they're not to park on the street. And the cars that are parking on the street belong to the residents across. And I'm there every day. That's my job. From 6 o'clock in the morning till 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. I see this lady walking her dog, and I've called the police and had them set on Wilson Road for the speeding. That's in every neighborhood. It doesn't matter whether it's ours, Chenal Parkway, it doesn't matter. And 95% of the people that lease from us, they've left these high-dollar apartment complexes. They're nurses at UAMS. They're nurses at Baptist Hospital. 90% of them are in the medical field. And they paid $1,300, $1,400, and $1,500, and we provide a nicer place than what they were staying in then. And yes, there is construction, and there's the pain of construction in a neighborhood of anywhere you live in. But I do my best to make sure the guys, the subcontractors are out of the street, up on our property. And when I come by and I see trucks in there, I get them off the street and in the property, or on our property. And other than that, we just do the best we can.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Commissioners, questions, comments? Yes, Commissioner Thomas.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You're proposing to build a duplex on this area?
It's a townhome. It's a
Townhome?
3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhome.
With, is there a garage or?
Yes.
A one car, two car?
It's a real big one-car garage, and our driveways are 35-foot long. And they're enough for 2 cars to park side by side in the driveways.
Okay.
Actually, they're bigger driveways than any residential home in the neighborhood.
Other commissioners? Commissioner Hamilton?
Yes, how many units do you have in this area?
We have 21.
21, okay.
Other commissioners? I have just one question for staff, could be Public Works or staff, and this is not really related to this particular application, but it's going to be coming up, the substandard streets in that area. There's not any plan for any improvements in those streets, is there?
We work with Miss Doris Wright real close.
Yes.
As far as the upgrades, and we get her in a vehicle about once every 6 months, and we ride her around and we show her what all we're doing. And we get her approval on it before we start anything.
Okay.
So we work real close with her, and she told me that within the next 2 to 3 years, she's gonna work on curb and gutter and widening.
Okay. Vince, you got anything to add to that?
No, about the only thing I can add is that at this point in time, there are no public projects planned for Perry Wilson on 22nd Street. This is a old subdivision that existed before the current code and stuff. We do go through and do paving projects and stuff. We do go and maintain the ditches, the pipes under driveways. They are the responsibility of that particular owner to maintain. Their construction does not trigger the Boundary Street Code.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Let me ask Vince a question. Has this been put in on the new tax code? Any of these streets been turned in by the citizens out there to be improved?
Troy, I would think so. I'm not exactly positive. I do know that in the 18, the new bond cycle, the streets within this area did not get picked up for funding.
okay.
That's something that the citizens out there needs to be on top of. It may not do them any good, but at least they get their hat in the ring. I have a question for Ms. Wilson. Miss Wilson, whichever it is, Miss.
Ms. Wilson?
Well, are you aware that there's a city ordinance against going to work before 7 o'clock and making noise? That's too early for a lot of people, but I think you ought to be quiet till 7.
I work Monday through Friday. I work 14-hour days from 6 to 4:30.
Bless you.
Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
And now ever since those apartment camp, my water pressure in my home is destroyed. My water pressure is so low now in my house. When it takes me a while just to even fill my sink up for dishwater, it's low. And as far as talking about the driveway, I have a 2-car garage, 2. I can get in and out mine comfortably. What he's talking about, his driveway, those driveways are not big at all. There's a truck that sits up on the hill on one of the driveways. So if it was what 2 cars can sit, that truck would not be up on the hill.
Okay.
Their driveways are not bigger than mine.
Yeah, I think you answered his question, Commissioner Lay. Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stebbins?
Are there any no parking signs on 22nd Street? Is it marked for no parking, or is parking allowed on that street?
Parking's allowed on that street. And I was going to answer the no parking and also the hours of operation. For construction, just to clarify for everybody, the hours of operation for construction is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. And those are the standard construction timeframes for any construction within the city limits of Little Rock.
Thank you. I thought that was the case. Good. Anything else?
Seems like we have a conflict on the noise ordinance and a construction ordinance.
To be discussed sometime. Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of Z 9358.
Okay, you heard a motion to approve this item. Do I hear a second? Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Those approve of this application, raise your hand. Do you have a count? I'm going to get that. That's what I'm sure. And those who are opposed? 3 opposed.
7 ayes, 3 noes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and thank you for the discussion and comments. They're all well noted for sure.
So he gets to put another duplex there.
Does this advance automatically to the board, or can it be appealed to the board?
This item will go to the board.
Okay.
And as long as the persons with concerns leave their full address
Yes.
on their cards, we will send you guys a letter with the board date on it.
If we fail.
So you will,
My first, okay.
it goes to the city board for another hearing, is what he's saying, and you'll get notice of when that hearing is at the city board.
You're still home.
Well, yes, however you want to express that. Okay, thank you. Okay, that ends the regular agenda. We have a moment for citizen or commissioner communication.
Yeah, Chairman Berry, I'd like to make a motion. There was an item at the September 20th meeting that I'd like to put on for reconsideration to be heard on the November 1st meeting.
Okay, good. I believe there was, that item is Z2481D.
That is correct. Yes.
The event center.
Second.
Just a moment. Does anyone need to recuse from that item? Okay. Recusal requires to absent the room too. I'm sorry to say. That's. Now this, for reconsideration of item, which would be November 1st, for another hearing, requires unanimous approval. Are there any questions and comments about why Commissioner Hamilton brought this up? Just for the record, we all cool with that? Okay. Do I hear a motion for reconsideration of Z2481D to the November 1st hearing?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
And I'll second it.
Okay. You have a motion that's made and been seconded to reconsider item 2481D, the event center, to November 1st. Those approve of that reconsideration, raise your hand. Okay. Those who do not approve, it's been unanimous. And hearing anything else, we stand adjourned. Thank you.